Hey chat, how we doing today? Okay. I'm probably gonna have a bit of trouble this street, and it's not for a lack of trying, it's the lack of finding any good swimming references. Like, why is it so difficult to find good references for swimming animations? Um, so like, I have not been able to find too many videos, at least not for animation purposes, of people swimming underwater. Like, I can probably find a great amount of still images, but it's not going to be helpful here. I found one total of like one good video, and that's probably going to be the basis for the animation that I do today. So, here we go. And I'll just throw this up. So, it's a 3-minute video, so it's probably pretty reasonable in terms of what I can take to create my animation. But the problem is I'm not entirely certain how some of these are going to interact necessarily. So like there's the obvious freestyle swimming, and the kickoff is a little bit unneeded, but that's fine. I can work with it. And then we've got butterfly, which I'm not too inclined on using. Like, I could probably use it as an animation some other time, but that's not the base animation that I want to work with, so to speak. So, there's underwater breaststroke, which could theoretically work, but I feel as though what I need to do specifically is I need to take the arm motion from breaststroke and combine it with, like, say, a flutter kick style that you usually see in freestyle and that sort of thing. Is probably because, like, I'm thinking there isn't actually any. If I look at Minecraft swimming, Minecraft swimming animation. So yeah, like the motion for swimming in Minecraft specifically, I think goes along the lines of what I was thinking of. Is the character kicks their legs and moves their arms in a breaststroke like pattern, which would probably be the closest to what I'm thinking of. Like, obviously, we've got like the quote unquote official artwork, but I don't think it properly represents the way the characters move in game. And that's why I don't always go with official artwork when I'm referencing stuff. See, like, you've got this motion here. So the legs are clearly kicking, and the arms are outstretched out front, so it's pretty obviously breaststroke as well. So that should be the easiest way to do things like this. Now, I think I rotate. It's gotta be a root bone that I can, well, a secondary bone I can rotate to move the entire lot. Doesn't seem to be the case. So I'm just gonna rotate this all by default. So for swimming, obviously the first thing I need to deal with here is the legs. So the motion, I'm thinking probably... Which one do I want to start out with? Do I want to start out with arms out front, or do I want to start them with the arms by the sides for the start of my animation? I'm thinking maybe outstretched would probably be the best, and then I can get the legs to work secondary. So I'm thinking my first pose is probably going to look... So the arms are outstretched, and then... So the way that the stroke usually works is that your arms are out front, your hands are facing downwards, and then you sort of turn them to the side before swishing your hands through to catch as much water as possible. So that'll probably be the most accurate way to do that. So it'll be around there. And the hands are probably going to be... this is going to be an interesting one because the arms don't connect to the shoulders in any meaningful way. So I could rotate them, but the question is, like, how much gap am I willing to leave here? So I'm thinking rotate along the y-axis. So the hands should be forward. And then... okay, I can't exactly copy that into the same location, but I can get relatively close, I think. So the motion idea is that by the time it gets to this spot, so I'm going to name these probably out and side. So by the time that the arms move around, so I'm just trying to think. Going back to this reference here. So yeah, the hands turn. So the motion of the hands is rather interesting here. So the hands are outstretched for a start. And then it turns towards the camera. And then goes all the way to the body. Before being drawn back. And then the hands are drawn forwards. It's a rather strange one, I think. So by the time that we get to this, so it will probably be... and then... Y. So that'll probably be the position of them by that time, so... Alt-R position. So that should, yeah. So if I play this, that technically does work. Although I am probably going to have to put a keyframe in the middle to prevent them from automatically twisting. Like, I mean, it's a good motion for a start off, but it's not quite what I'm looking for. So... so I want the hands to still be pointed in that direction. Yeah, so it should scoop the water. Alright. So the arm goes there, and then it should pause for about 5 frames before returning to this position on frame 31. Which, by the way, I do need to set this back to 30 frames. But then I want the swing here. I want this to be closer to the body, I think. So, looking at the way that this person swims, you see that like, this motion here is fine. So this motion here, where the arm swings out before returning to the side, is fine. Although I do need to angle the arms, but that's not my main concern right now. So it's this motion here that I'm most concerned about. So the arms are outstretched, and then it curls into here, and then the arm swings outwards from the shoulder. So the motion would technically go like this. And then the shoulder would rotate up. To there. So I don't know how well that's going to work. Because the arm just suddenly juts forward, and that's not quite what I want. So I think I want this motion here to be shorter. Except the elbow seems to want to... if I move this rotation here... I need to, like, hide a bunch of these, actually. So, no to these ones. Actually, just those ones. So, hide those for the time being, just so I can see what I'm doing here. So the arm swings out. And I do want there to be some bend to the elbow, because there is a bend to the elbow at the point halfway here. The elbow is already bending, and then once it gets to the side on position, then it straightens out. So this motion here, this should actually be bent already here. And then this actually needs to be unrotated. Hey, Likely, how you doing? So then there should be a pause here where this is not rotated. And then up to here again. It's okay so far. I am going to have to tweak this quite a fair bit though, because the fact I'm only going off of one reference basically is a little bit concerning, but it be like that sometimes. Also, loving the flashbang emote there, Likely. You've got like so many emotes, and all I've got is just the default Twitch stuff. And Kappa Infinite, but that's neither here nor there. So I actually want the arm to be rotating. Like, at this point here, I want the arms to be rotated more towards the body. So I want it to be, like, sort of closer to the body there. I bounce from stream to stream and get placed on gift sub lottery every time. Okay, you know what? That tracks. So when the arm moves forward, it should stay in that bent position just a little bit longer before straightening out. So that should be fine. Now I need to copy all this. And H. These. And Control Shift M is the mirror. And hide. No, Control I and then hide. Those. Control Shift V. Did I not copy the information data from the wrist? That seems a bit strange to me. Copy that. And then H. Make sure I grab all the correct stuff. And then actually it should be Control Shift M, Control I, and then H. There you go. Except I did not get this one as well. Hide all those. Why are you here? Where is this stupid eyelid? Where is the stupid eyelid going? Hide. Get out here. And now you're just showing off all the emotes. You just have a casual tuner emote, like... At least I'm assuming that's what that is. The emote's so small I can't exactly see it on that screen. Oh well. I'm going to assume that's what that is. Bruh, how am I not getting the information that I ask for whenever I copy? Okay, let's try this again. This time, Blender, without the stupid. See all the information that I specifically requested that you copy? You see all that? You got it? Yeah? So now, Alt H, grab this one, this one, this one, and this one. Control I. Actually, no. Control Shift M. Control I and hide all of it. And yet, for some reason, that one still keeps getting selected. Okay. Hide all that. And yet, somehow, it's... Huh? Blender is just doing this to piss me off, I swear. Is tuner? Yeah, I figured as much because I can highlight and see the emote names. So I just have to take my best guess as to what they are. Actually, hang on a minute. So like this is the correct information, right? Yeah, upper L, lower L, wrist L. So I am copying this. And then Control Shift M, which selects the other side, except for this one here, I don't know why. Hide all that. So this should be the correct thing. Okay, now it does. Huh? Why you like this, Blender? Like, I have so many questions, and yet none of them will ever be answered. Good lord. Anyway. So that's a pretty decent rough draft. I'm gonna work on the legs now before I lose what little shit I have left. Okay, so legs are pretty easy, just a relatively simple kicking motion. In fact, I'm wondering if I should forward kinetic this instead of inverse kinetic. Or kinematics, rather. I think forward kinematics is probably a better idea for this particular motion. So the way that I enable that on this one is I go to the kinematics, and these two here, I grab them and I set them to FK. So now, if I if I slash out of that, I can now use, I believe, these ones here. So these ones here and these ones here. And these will control the movement for the legs. So this should be relatively easy. So it's just like a simple kicking motion. It probably only needs to last a few frames. In fact, I probably even want to start with a leg motion. So I need to have a look at the freestyle kick to see what I've got going on here. Like, is this mostly from the hip? Is this mostly from the upper leg? Is this from the lower leg? All things that I have to consider. So it seems most of the motion comes from the hip. There is secondary motion from the lower leg, though. So probably need to look at this a couple times to get a better sense. So when the character is moving, unfortunately, freestyle is not a good one for this, and the only reason I say this is because when the person throws out their hands to do the scoop motion, the entire body tilts to one side or the other. And I don't think that's as much of a case as it is with the butterfly style of motion here. Yeah, so the body doesn't tilt or prefer one side of the other in this motion. And that's probably accurate. There's probably some preference depending on what side of the leg, like what side of the body the leg is kicking from. So if it was the left side, I'd imagine the... I'm not entirely sure, actually. Is there a motion where the person is swimming like without their hands, but the legs are still going? Let's see. Also, has my music stopped? I'm just looking here. So... okay, there was actually a small moment. Okay, it doesn't seem that the hips tilt too much when it comes to that, so that tells me two things. Well, it tells me one major thing and a couple of minor things, but the major thing that tells me is that the motion isn't necessarily generated from the hip in this character's case, it's going to be generated from the upper thigh. So that is very helpful indeed. So the speed of the leg motion is quite slow, I think. Like, compared to the actual motion itself. So I think probably... I want to say every other frame it's Well, I'd say every other frame. Like, every X amount of frames is going to be moving, so... Probably around here for leg motions, I think. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. Actually, how many was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6. 7. Okay, so it's a little bit offbeat. But I can fix that. Actually, if I try fixing it, it's going to cause some discrepancies in the link. So I'm just going to have it move down. So if I grab this one here, copy, Control-Shift-V, and then copy this one. And then Control-Shift-V here. So the leg motion needs to be relatively fast, but it needs to be slow compared to the arm motion, I think. I know it doesn't make any sense now, but I swear it will later. So then I just need to duplicate this one over, and then duplicate this one over to here. Okay, so the legs are going now. So, what does the knee motion look like here? So, I'm looking for specifically the up and down motion here. So, the motion up, actually that's really strange because I'm looking at the knee and that actually bends a lot further than you think it does. So when the knee is curled downwards, the leg is up, and when the leg is curling upwards, the knee is actually pointed slightly in this direction. So when it's upwards, the leg is actually curled here. So I'm going to say probably around about, I want to say 10 to 15 degrees. I'll go with 15 for now. So when it hits the bottom here, it's actually rotated a bit more that way, but because this character specifically doesn't have the leg constraints to allow for overshoot, it's just going to be straightened out. So duplicate that. Then duplicate that across. I can actually edit the curves to make this look more natural though. And then duplicate this one, so it should be straightened out now. Looks kind of adorable, right? Whereas looks like he's just struggling in the air, trying to swim in the air, but it's just not working. Okay, so going for, I believe it's this one. Shin, yep. Copy. So this here should be duplicated. 30 frames. Grab these ones. G minus 15. And now that should follow the motion that I needed to. Except it's not exactly. What is going on here? That should not be doing that. Maybe it just needs to be moved over by... okay, that's going to be a little bit of a pest, actually. And this is why having the keyframe, like all the markers and whatnot, not be on evens, be a little bit frustrating. So... Grab that. So now this... Oh. And just move these manually. Not the end of the earth. So now these should be in the correct position. Okay, yeah, that goes the way that I expect it to. Right. So legs are moving. And now I probably want to overshoot the motions on these. So if I go into the graph editor, I don't need scale here. I just want rotation. And that rotation is not going to be helpful here. So it's really just the X rotation I need to be worried about. So probably to around about here, I still want this to be bent. And I actually want to raise these up a bit, I think. So when it gets to the bottom, it like really straightens out. And then on the other side, I want it to... It seems like a strange movement, but it does make the most sense here. And then I can just copy the information from here and copy it to the other side. So, dope sheet. Copy that. Grab this one here. Oh. Always need to remember to not delete all the keyframes. Otherwise, you will not be able to paste the information you want. So, Control-Shift-V. D30. These. And then it's actually this one here that I think is the best position. And then grab these ones here and just scooch them on over. Okay, I've definitely done something funky with this shin here. What have I done exactly? Because I was pretty sure I copied all these accurately. So yeah, copy that. Okay, there we go. How long? I think I had like 21 frames. 22, there we go. Alright, now that should be functioning. I could have sworn that I had the knees curled more. Am I dumb? Like, I'm pretty sure I had them curved more. Alright, let's have a look in the graph editor and see what's gone wrong here. let's try this. Okay, and then this could prove to be a slight issue. Grab these ones. Because, like, I want the scale of these to push more towards here. So 2.5 x 2.5. And now I'm going to rotate these. And the hope is that rotating them will give a small amount of overshoot. Yeah, perfect. So now the legs overshoot. Well, sorry, I say the leg as if it's the entire leg. It's really just the thighs that the shins rather, that overshoot. That should be good, I think. Alright, those are some legs, that's for sure. Now, I think it's probably time to deal with the elephant in the room, that is the arms, because they're not quite the way that I'd expect them to be. Unfortunately, it's a bit of an annoyance. So, dope sheet. Now, unfortunately, the motions are a bit offset here, but that's whatever. Can't expect everything to be perfect and clean, unfortunately, when it comes to animation, especially not for something this specific, I suppose you could call it. So, this motion here. I wonder if I can actually fix this up slightly. I can actually probably move all the arm motions to be a little bit more on beat. So this one here, I do still want this to... That's actually probably closer to what I want it to be. I just wish I had a little bit more time to work with here. Let's see how it looks being pushed and then slowing it down a bit. NLA, push there, and go with the good old action clip. So repeat it 3 times. So it's down by about 2. Go to 180. Okay, so this tells me that I need to edit the amount of time that it takes for the arm to go from here to here. And then I can use that time to have the arms come up slower. So I'm thinking on the original animation, maybe edit the frame rate, the frames by about 2, perhaps. Alright, so going back to the swimming. Also, I need to change the name of this. So, the arm motion here. So I just need this motion here specifically. Control I and hide all that. So this motion here, I can move this by 2. And then I move these by 2. Actually, move all these by 2. So the amount of time it takes for that to go up now should be considerably shorter. So now if I go back into the NLA, delete that one, push that, and then the exact same, repeat 3 and play back 2. Okay, that's a little bit better. So the main other things I need to do are the head motion, although the head motion doesn't seem to move so much, and then I need to do like the average, like the regular hips back, and just any overlapping motion. So that should be easy enough. And do that, and put this one back on. I should also probably be making all of these false users as well, otherwise I'm gonna lose an animation that I spent hours working on. I'm gonna be so pissed. So I've got that going. Now I think probably hip rotation is going to be important here. But I need to have a look at... because I know the characters' heads tend to be upright when they're swimming. And I know that sounds rather weirdly specific, but the head just turns into whatever direction they're looking at. But it seems like at default, I'm probably going to have to tilt the head up by like about 35, 45 degrees. Also, I'm not going to mention it because of YouTube, but I wish some of the thumbnails could maybe, you know, give it a rest with some of the weird stuff that they put on them. Like, it's not really necessary. So I need to go to frame 1 here. So how much do I move this by? 35 degrees. So that's 35 degrees there. And this is 45. In fact, I think I might stick with 45 for now. So make sure I take this over. So the head is still in the correct position. I know that, like, there's a guy on YouTube who does Minecraft specific animation, like libraries. Needs attention though. Yeah, definitely needs attention. But there's like a guy on YouTube. I cannot for the life of me remember what his name is. Hey Foxy, how you doing? Oh, you got Alpha Rad. Nice. Love seeing an Alpha Rad emote or so. Ah, every so often. Also, Woodplank. That's the person I was thinking of. Woodplank has, like, their own stuff on how to create Minecraft animations. So he's certainly worth a look at. I think he's doing his own course, like he's making his own paid-for course. but I'm not entirely certain. Now, I probably imagine... Now, here's the thing, right? The motion forward would cause head bobble, but not in the way that I think everyone would... Well, I say everyone as if everyone is me. The way that I would assume, personally. Like, I imagine the motion of the propulsion forward would knock the head back slightly. Yes, I was gifted yesterday. Nice. I love Alphared's content, honestly. He's really funny. Like, man is legitimately funny. Yeah, like, I'm looking at this here. And when the head's propelled forward, you can see it slightly here. The head gets pushed backwards as the body is propelled forward. And then, sort of by the time that it gets back to the sides of the body, the head returns to regular position. So, at this point here, so where is my Alt H? I want to see here. So, at this point here, where the arms are by the sides of the body, the head should be pushed all the way back. Also, I need to copy the animation over to this side. So, I need to... Right there, I need to grab all this information here. He's got so many good ones, too. Like, he just has a lot of emotes. And honestly, like, good for him. Alright, Alt. It's not what I wanted. I wanted Alt H. Thank you, Windows. I did not ask for speech-to-text dictation. If I wanted that, I'd go and get Dragon. Control-Shift-M, Control-I, and hide that. So now, I can just obliterate those. Control-Shift-V. Oh, god damn it. It's doing the thing again. Why are you like this? Ah, yes, the talking to the brick wall. Otherwise known as talking to chat. Can relate sometimes. Alt H. Control Shift M. Control I and hide that. So now I should have both of these. Delete that. There we go. And because the motion's repeated on both sides, it doesn't really matter. Everyone's just spamming emotes. I'm just like, yeah, fair enough. Maybe one day I'll get my own emotes. Are you calling me a wall? I'm calling chat in general a wall. I mean, like, you've seen the way Likely reacts whenever anything relating to jiggle physics is mentioned. Alright, so hands are more consistent now. Cool. So the thing I really need to do now is the head motion. So by the time that this is here... Jiggle, you say, please. Why with the tentacles? Oh, wait, that's a tail. Never mind. Whoops. That was on me. Like, for seeing something that moves like that and assuming it was something else than what it actually was. That's a my bad. So, I do need to edit the graph on this one. Purely because the motion is going to be a little bit delayed. Listen, chat, in my defense, I'm blind. Like, blind as fuck. It's not a very good defense, but it's the best one I've got. Okay, so then I want to... So by the time it gets down to here, so the arms are by the side. So which frame is this? Frame 11. So by the time it gets to frame 11, I want the head to be rotated back to its original position. Okay, the total rotation could go down a bit. And then this side, I'm just gonna... Where is it? Okay, this is actually unnaturally scaled. I don't know. Oh, I know why. It's because I used the other one. Okay, can't I literally just... I had this for a reason. Yes, back seating. Very, very annoying up until the point where it's Twitch plays Pokemon. Have any of y'all sticked around after I send you over in a raid to watch the abomination that is Twitch plays Pokemon? Because that is definitely a sight to behold sometimes. I think he's done like 2 separate videos on it. There was one where it was a tournament. I believe it was for Pokemon... I think it's Heart Gold, Soul Silver? Actually, no, it would have been regular Gold and Silver. And then the second video, which was more recent, I believe was Pokemon Emerald, I want to say. Not that I can confirm that, but they're both good videos. Okay, I need to lower that down even more. And then maybe scale this back. So if I go ahead and push this in the NLA. So repeat 3 and the playback is 2. So now if I push that back. Now, do I think this is still moving too far? Likely, what in the hell are you doing? I loved how Alpha just has a random Jaden emote. You need to understand that Alpha has a random Jaden that lives in his house. You know they live together, right? Like they're roommates. Like stuck around on the raids, yeah. I know not everyone does, but like occasionally they do. I know sometimes it's Twitch plays Pokemon, sometimes there's like Jackbox or something going on in the background. Like I can never be too sure when it comes to subathons. I think maybe I want to push the head motion back slightly further. No, I did not. Well, you do now. I believe there was a video where it's a short where Jacob asks Jaden to shiny hunt for him while he goes to the bathroom, and like literally not even 2 minutes later she finds a shiny, and then she just stays on the screen till he comes back. I don't like raiding into large streamers, so I leave the moment it forwards us. Okay, fair enough. What is it? Why is the emote called white bread? Like, huh? Like, I think the head motion needs to be in a slightly different position. I wonder if I put it in a different position, though, it's gonna start acting really strangely. So I wonder if... I think I just edit it down slightly. Like, I just lower the overall movement. Like, it doesn't need to be huge. Better than Wonder Bread? Because white bread, yeah, fair enough. Shout out to the time, and like, there's an actual quote book with me saying this somewhere. I called myself Albino Wonder Bread, which is very accurate as to what I look like as a human being. It's not in the Discord one, But there is a quote book that a friend of mine has of me, like has with me, that has that as a quote. Pale and deforested. Well, I mean, I'm assuming you mean, sorry, deforested? In the case of bread? Like, I'm pale, yes. Like, if I go out in the sun, like, I look like a rotisserie chicken after, like, 5 minutes. Not out of choice, just purely because my medication is a bunch of bullshit. Okay, so I think the... Okay, goodbye. Bonk. Alright, so the back and hips, I think, are the next subject here. So, looking at this again. Apparently, Wonder Bread ties to deforestation somehow. Honestly, yeah, that tracks. Like, the reason I say that tracks is because the logic would be you have to cut down a bunch of forests. By the way, you don't have to do that in order to set up farms to grow the wheat required to make Wonder Bread. But, like, you don't have to deforest things, you just have to plan out your spacing a bit better. There shouldn't be any reason, at least for the time being, to destroy old growths to us. US has a lot of land for wheat. Yeah, I understand that. Aren't they like the biggest exporter of wheat in the world, or one of the largest ones? Okay, so there's some curve to the back when swimming. Like there's a fair bit of curve. And I probably do want to have some rotation to the hips on the kick. But the problem is I don't have any good motions for underwater swimming. Like, that's the only reference I have, and there's no specific reference for the one that I'm looking for, you know? Is this by the same person? Oh, no, it's... Well, it is by the same person, but it's a different video. Do you have any wisdom for me here? That's swimming towards the camera. Okay, that's just the butterfly kick. So... not really helpful here. And also, yes, Charles's video gets recommended to me on YouTube, even though I've already watched the video. Swimming reference. Swimming animation reference. So... okay, here we go. This is probably a fairly decent representation of how the hips would move. I haven't seen it yet. Do you want the TLDR, or would you prefer watching through the 30-something minute video? Because I can just give the brief shorthand if anyone requires it. So yeah, I think there's like a slight amount of hip movement, and I think it's tilted down towards the side whenever... because I'm looking at this, right? Why are you giving me the thonk, Foxy? I was just offering. Because I know not everyone is inclined towards sitting through that sort of lecture. There's a lot of fish references, but there's no person swimming references. Okay, this is a actual animation. According to this, we have roughly the size of New Zealand dedicated to wheat production. Yeah, that tracks. I guess I could watch it. Yeah, fair enough. I'm just saying he's no longer in the United States. He actually has gone elsewhere for 8 months. So, yeah, whatever side is down is the way the hip is twisted, it seems. So... on this frame here, which is the first one here, the hips would be rotated towards this way, just like very minorly. 3 degrees. Why are you giving me the stare, Foxy? I am just the messenger. Don't shoot me. Sheesh? Yeah. Alt R. And then Alt. Well, actually not Alt, but Y rotate. And then I just duplicate this ad infinitum until it gets to where I need to be. So I'm pretty sure if I just duplicate this here, this should be in the correct position. Okay, cool. You're just having real fun with those emotes, aren't you, Foxy? Actually, I wonder, because I'm thinking, how long do I have until the first, because I was thinking about this earlier today. I know I've taken, like, I believe it was 8 or 9 days off because I was so sick. I don't know how long I have until the first, like, 3 viewers stream expires for that particular quote-unquote achievement. Because I need 4 of those in order to be able to do point rewards. I'm just hopeful I can get there in time so everyone can finally, you know, pester me for geese and birds in general. So I don't think... Does the chest move? It doesn't move in the traditional sense. It doesn't seem. So it's really just the... In fact, I think it actually probably needs to curve this one here. So... you get to the first frame here. Okay, I think 3 rotation, just to give a curve. I wonder if I need to rotate this one as well. I think rotating both of them is a good idea. And then Control I, hide all that. And then duplicate this across to here. So that should stay the same the entire time. But then this here... So, I believe it's the X rotation I need to prevent from doing that. It is not, it seems. Is it the Y rotation I used then? Actually, I need to duplicate the X rotation first. In fact, that would prove that was the X rotation, wouldn't it? Okay, like, for somebody who can find fuck all references of people swimming, this is not too bad, I don't think. Certainly an upgrade from the Minecraft one, that's for sure. Although, I suppose anything would be an upgrade if there was, you know, hands and whatnot to work with. And bending involved. Alright, so... let's see how this looks from other camera angles. So we've got the front angle. And we've got 3/4. So, grabbing this in the NLA and pushing this down, I should just be able to repeat 3 and play back 2. Okay, maybe the head is taking is not taking enough time to actually recoil, and that's why it looks weird. I'm thinking that might be my main issue at the moment here. Probably need to work on some overlapping motion with the hands and the wrists, but that's basically nothing, I don't think. Like, there's not a lot of overlap to be had here. Okay, let's just move that. And back to the dope sheet. So the first thing I think of here is probably the hands and wrists need to have some overlapping motion to them. So I think probably what I do here is I have the hands like that, and then at this point I have them straightened out. So I have them straightened out like that. So that would imply that the hands are being outstretched by the water. And then by the time it gets to here, I want the... Oh wait, rotating it? I didn't even know it did that. Okay. I was wondering why the thumb never moved with the rest of the fingers, but I guess... Huh, more you know, I suppose. So I want this to be more closed by the time it gets to here. Except I actually probably want to close that sooner. So roughly around about here. And then maybe even move this a bit more. And then here I want the hands to just start moving out. So I want the hand position to be roughly the same here. So when the hand moves out, I wonder if I actually need this slot here now still. Or actually, yeah, I do probably. Because if I don't have that there, it's just going to weirdly twist, and that's not the way that I want the arms to move. I think it's fine, actually. So if I play this... So yeah, now we have actual hand motion to go with this, which is really cool. Now I just need to copy this to the other one, I believe. I don't think I've edited anything else here, it was just the hand. So Control-Shift-V. Okay, so Control-V. Has it, I think, the same position? Although, it does seem to be doing some weird stuff here. Do I want to keep that? I don't think I do. So, looking at this... Control-I, like that. So, looking at the positions of these two, they're like completely different areas. So I want from this hand here. I wish there was a way just to select them all, but unfortunately there isn't. Alright, so go back here. So I actually pasted them to the wrong side. What is going on? It's the left hand that I want. I did paste them correctly. My brain is being a gaslighting little piece of shit again. And I will not stand for it. So, even like that, it still acts strange. Why does it do this? Yeah, just, I think maybe the problem is, it's not the X, because it's in the same position. It's probably it's the Z axis. So, how do I fix that? I think I just flip the Z location, right? So, doing this, if I... Okay, how do I do this? Mirror times over 0 value? It's still not doing it. I mean, it helps, but it's not doing what I want it to. Okay, here we go. Frames over cursor value. Okay, I know, like, swimming's not supposed to be perfectly symmetrical and that, but without having good symmetry from the get-go, there is way to make it asymmetrical, but I'm not doing it right this second. So, I think that's pretty decent for all intents and purposes. So I'm going to push this and do my funny little trick to see how well it goes. So got... I think that's everything. So the only other real thing here is maybe offsetting the position of the leg slightly would probably be in my best interest. Just to give it just a little bit more interest. So, swimming, and the easiest way to do this would be to grab these two, and I think along the Z-axis with them. Now, I don't think it necessarily moves, although it could move slightly inwards, but I don't think that's helpful here. So grab the Z rotation. Except apparently that's the X rotation? No, that can't be it. You know what would help if I actually clicked on the correct one? So if I duplicate this across... Yeah, that's good. And then I can just copy that over to the other side. So... these ones... but then that just causes another problem. So I'm just gonna... do that instead. Those. those and duplicate them across, and we should be good. So now I don't have the mental image of stone grinding whenever Steve brushes his legs against each other when he's swimming. Alright, that should be good. Yeah, it would be interesting to see if I could ever use these types of animations in poses that I do for, like, say, the Minecraft and Spyro thing. I wonder, like, if I had an animation like this back then, I could have used that as, like, the swimming animation for that one pose, but coulda, shoulda, woulda, but I didn't. And I think the arms have enough motion as is, although the weird clipping issue is going to be a little bit obnoxious, but not the end of the earth. Like, if I really want to get rid of clipping, I'd have to physically move the arms away from the body, and I'm not too inclined on that, I don't think. At least not for the time being, until I can figure out what the hell it is I'm doing. Alright, so save that, and it is time to end off the stream. Now, Twitch side, do I have anyone for you to pester? Get that out of the way, and where is Twitch? The stream, thanks, Likely, I appreciate it. Yeah, I think I'll probably just send you over to Alpha Red again, so yeah. Like, the only other people are Drake, who I already raided yesterday, and while I like raiding them, like, it'd be probably good just to spread out the raids. And the other one is somebody who I know for a fact has raids turned off. So, I shall do that. /raid. Alright, have fun with the raid. Again, no messages for anyone to pester the streamer with, because I am not creative. Anyway, I shall see y'all tomorrow.